we can talk about 5 problems in the business process that may lead to financing risk. What are the 5 problems in the business process that may lead to financing risk? Number 1 is uncertainty of market condition. So we have already mentioned that if the investors, if the deficit investors, they are not able to fulfill the contract and they are not able to fulfill the financial obligation, that means they are not able to provide the cash flow according to what has been promised, that can result in some kind of loss, and probability of this situation is the financing risk. So what are the problems that may lead to this situation? Number 1 is uncertainty of market condition, because that investors will invest the surplus fund, but their success, their profit will depend on the condition in the market where they are operating. Okay, so uncertainty of market condition is one reason that can lead to financing risk for the Islamic bank. Another one is uncertainty related to the selling price of a guarantee or collateral. So you understand that sometimes we also have guarantee or collateral. Of course, that can protect us, but the problem arises when the collateral or guarantee does not get sufficient price, or the possibility that the collateralized asset, the asset that has been used for as a collateral is not possible to market properly. That means if the Islamic bank do not get the contractual fund from the deficit investor, and if the Islamic bank wants to sell the collateral asset, the Islamic bank might not get a good market for that, might not get the expected value or sufficient value to fulfill the deficit of cash arised from the failure of the customer to make payment. So that is another reason why the financing risk may arise. Number 3 is the issue of the credibility of the information provided by the debtor. Okay, for example, a business organization has got financing from the Islamic bank, but the information based on which the Islamic bank has taken the decision to provide the funding is not credible. Okay, so that can be another reason. So if the information is not credible, if the information is not true, if the information is fake, then what happened? Islamic bank make a investment decision, okay, based on low quality information, and that decision can be a wrong decision. Ultimately, a wrong investment decision can come up with an unexpected outcome. That means ultimately the debtor or the deficit investor might not be able to provide sufficient fund. Okay, that can be another problem, okay, that can lead to the financing risk. Number 4 is the problem of granularity caused by the myriad of debtors' finance. Actually, there are so many parties with which the Islamic bank has to deal. By granularity, we mean that the small size but high number. If each and every customer is is small in number, small in size but high in number, then we call them the granularity of the customer. Okay, so let's say one Islamic bank is dealing with 5 very big business organizations, and side by side another Islamic bank is dealing with 50 small businesses. So in the second case, the Islamic bank might not be able to efficiently understand the 50 investment customers. Okay, and they may make a wrong decision, about investment with that 50. Out of that 50 customer, maybe 10 of them are not very good investors, but still Islamic bank has taken a wrong decision to go for a partnership with them or investment with them. Okay, so that can create a problem. But if, on the other hand, if the Islamic bank can invest, if the Islamic bank can fund 5 big customers with the same amount of fund, so in that case, the Islamic bank can give sufficient effort, to understand the customer very well, so that they make a very careful investment decision, careful funding decision. As a result, the Islamic Bank do not make any wrong decision. No, the Islamic Bank make a proper decision regarding whether the Islamic Bank will fund the investor, or what should be the maximum amount the Islamic Bank will fund, or what should be the timing of funding. Okay, so all these decisions will be appropriate if there is no problem of granularity. But if there is a problem of granularity, that means the customers are very small in size and big in number. Okay, in that case, that can be a problem, which may lead to future inability of the customers, of the many customers, some of the many customers defaulting in future. Another one is the inability to differentiate between ability and willingness to pay. Inability to differentiate between ability and willingness to pay. You know that definitely there is financing risk with every customer. Maybe sometimes the financing risk is small, sometimes the financing risk is big. Okay, but type of the financing risk is very important to understand, because Islamic Bank has to take steps, controlling steps. For example, whether the customer has a problem related to ability or willingness, depending on that, the Islamic Bank's approach of management will be different. But let's say your customer is actually able to pay, but is not willing to pay. But you have misunderstood the customer. You think that the customer is actually not able to pay. So what do? You extend the period of payment. So that will be a wrong decision, because if the customer is really unwilling to pay, even if you extend the duration, probably the customer is not going to repay even after the extended duration. Okay, so this is another problem, the inability to differentiate between the ability and willingness to pay by the debtor. Okay, so these are the 5 problems in the business process that may lead to financing risk.